And welcome back. In this episode, we are going to build the collar. This we're going to do in the next episode. In the previous episode, we built the yoke, which is this part of the sweater. The yoke started with a string of foundation half double crochet stitches. The string needed to be long enough to allow for a 1-inch collar to be stitched at a later time. As you stitch your yoke, I'm sure that you have periodically put it on in front of the mirror to see how the yoke was growing, and also to estimate how many more rows you needed to stitch in order to complete it. I'm sure you must have also noticed that as you were putting on the yoke, time after time, the neck hole began to stretch. Well, guess what? That was not an illusion. See, crochet stitches are not as elastic as knitted stitches, and that is why crochet fabrics tend to stretch and have a hard time returning to their original shape. So, if your neck hole has stretched, chances are that its front section here may now be sitting a little bit lower than it should be, shifting the entire yoke downward and giving you the impression that a yoke may be completed. So, the perfect time to stitch your collar is now that you have completed your yoke. By making the collar now, you will be bringing the neck hole back to its original shape, shifting everything back up again. And after the collar is made, you can then try it on and then see in front of the mirror if the yoke needs a few more rows to really be completed. That's why I suggest that you do not remove any of the stitch markers around the outer perimeter of your yoke in case you may still need them to add a few more rows to the yoke after you've completed the collar. So, how do I make the ribbing for my collar? Well, to tell you the truth, I have not seen it done the way that I do anywhere else. So I feel pretty confident in claiming it as my own. So I'm gonna call it the Fabio's Signature Ribbing. And this ribbing, the Fabio Signature Ribbing, I use it everywhere. I use it for the collar, of course. I also use it for my cuffs, for at the end of a sleeve, as well as at the hem at the end of a sweater. So, what's the Fabio Signature Ribbing all about? Let's take a look. Okay. So the Fabio Signature Ribbing is made by alternating 3 double crochet in the front post with 1 double crochet in the back post. 3 double crochet in the front post and 1 double crochet here in the back post. Let's see with another one that is a little bit clearer. This one should look a little bit better. Notice it's 3 double crochet stitches in the front post and 1 double crochet stitch in the back post. Now, in order to make the collar grow inward as a disc and not upward as a cylinder, we have to make decreases, but not on every row, but only on the first row of the collar at the base of the collar. And where are these decreases? Well, these decreases are right here at every dip of the ribbing. So it is every 3 regular stitches and 1 decrease, 3 regular stitches and 1 decrease, 3 regular stitches and 1 decrease. And because we make so many decreases during the first row of the collar, we don't have to make any more decreases for the rest of the collar. Also notice that the Fabio Signature Ribbing is not a reversible ribbing, meaning that the ribbing has one side and the other side does not look the same. In other words, the ribbing has a right side, which is the side that the world will see, and a wrong side, which is the side that touches my body. So at this point, right before we start stitching the collar, it would be a good idea to mark the right side of our entire yoke. And you can do so with a stitch marker, just like this. And now we are going to start stitching the first row of our collar, which is also the base, which is also the one that is filled with so many decreases. Okay, so this is the yoke that you are very familiar with. It's the one that I showed to you in my previous episode. Notice this is the seam, sorry. This is the seam of the yoke. This is the back of the yoke also, which will be the back of the sweater, and this will be the front of the sweater. So what I would like you to do is to do exactly this. You need to fold your yoke like this, and this is the front part, and this is the back part. Okay, and this is the seam. What I would like you to do is to count 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to the right of this seam right there. The reason is because I am not going to start the collar right at the seam, because this area is already a not so pretty looking area, and I would like to kind of like make it a little bit prettier, and I'm gonna do so by making some decreases right there to eliminate this dip, this gap right there. So the first row will be a row of half double crochet stitches in the front row. Yes, the same stitch that we did, that we love so much. Where is the front? Did I say the front row? I'm sorry, the front loop. So it will be the half double crochet stitch in the front loop. Where is the double crochet stitch in the front loop? Well, it's right here. Okay, this is the bar. This is the bar. This, let me see if I can maybe make it a little bit more central right there. Okay, this is the bar. Now that's the top side of the foundation half double crochet stitch. So this is the bar. This is our front loop right there, and this is the back loop, which we are not going to use. Okay, so we count 5 stitches to the right of the seam. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We identify our front loop, which is right this one, and we are going to stitch a chain just to add some height. And here it is, a chain, and then we mark the chain with a stitch marker right there. Okay, so our first stitches are 3 half double crochet stitches in the front loop. 1, yarn over, front loop, yarn over again, 2, okay, I needed to remove the, okay, now yarn over, and we're gonna make number 3. Okay, now we're gonna make our decrease, and I'm gonna make the decrease over this dip. I have my own way of making decreases. If you like it, you can follow it. If you don't like it, you can do your own way. Now, because this is a dip that I want to eliminate, I'm gonna make a decrease of 3 together. Okay, it's the only one that's gonna be a 3 together. Yarn over, in the front loop, in the front loop, in the front loop again, and now done. Look at that, it's gone. It's absolutely gone. It's gone. And now we can continue. 1 half double crochet stitch in the front loop, 1 double crochet stitch in the front loop, 1 double crochet stitch in the front loop, and now we're going to do another decrease. Now this will be just a 2 together, okay? And again, I'm going to show you my way of doing a decrease. You can do it your own way, okay? So yarn over, I go through 1 loop, yarn over, pull through, second loop, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through. And this is how I do my decrease. And now again, 3 half double crochet stitches in the front loop, 1, in the front loop only, not both loops, just the front loop. Don't fight with me. Sometimes they fight with me. And that was number 2. And now this is, well, there, front loop. Okay, and now a decrease. Yarn over, through the loop, yarn over, through the second loop, yarn over, and pull through all the loops. Okay, I'm gonna do another one, and then we go to the next step. 1 half double crochet stitch in the front loop, second half double crochet stitch in the front loop, third half double crochet stitch in the front loop, and now a decrease. And that was our decrease. So we continue like this until we finish, until we go around the neck hole and we finish, and then we slip stitch. And here we are. I have reached the end of the neck hole. And if you are in a situation like me where I just completed, here is the decrease, and then I have 1, 2, and 3 half double crochet stitches in the front loop, and I have another stitch here, and I cannot make a decrease here because it's just 1 stitch and not 2. Then you have 2 choices. You can either remove frog 1 stitch and then do a decrease here, or you can do just regular stitches here. I am going to do just 4 regular, so I'm just going to do another regular stitch here. Up to you, you can do. And now we are going to slip stitch, and we just completed the base of the collar. Remember, we did 3 stitches and 1 decrease, 3 stitches and 1 decrease. The idea is that wherever we did a decrease, we are going to do a double crochet stitch in the back post, and wherever we did regular stitches, we're just going to do the 3 double crochet stitches in the front post. Okay, so row number 2. Okay, now I'm going to start row number 2. First of all, I'm going to chain 2 to add height. I'm going to reposition my stitch marker. I know in the previous episode I constantly called this a stitch mark. I know it's a stitch marker. Sometimes I forget to enunciate my words correctly. Forgive me, forgive me, forgive me. Alrighty, so back to our crocheting. I just chain 2, I reposition my stitch marker, and now I am going to turn my work, and now we're going to do row 2 of our ribbing for the collar. And this one will be instead done with double crochet stitches in the front post. So yarn over and insert just like this. So not only double crochet stitches have a front post, even the half double crochet stitch has a front, let me repeat again. Not only the double crochet stitch has a post. Also, the half double crochet stitch has a post. It's a little bit shorter, like this one, but it's still a post, and we can still work in front of it and behind it to create a ribbing. So remember, wherever you hit a regular post, you're gonna do front post double crochets. Whenever instead you hit a decrease from the previous row, you will be working the decrease as a back post, just like this. I'm gonna show, let's do it together. So I have here, because of the way I ended the first row of my neck hole, sorry, my ribbing, I have here 4 regular stitches before I hit my decrease. So here I'm gonna make 4 double crochet stitches in the front post before I hit the double crochet stitch in the back post. Okay, so yarn over, insert your hook behind the post to create a front post, and you complete the stitch. Do it again. Okay, another one. And in my case, in your case, you may just, in your case, I just did 3. Notice the relief, the ridging, the ribbing already beginning to start. Like I said, I have to make 4 in my case, but only in this one. Now I have 4. Now this is, as you can see, this looks a little bit fatter. Looks like a fatter one because this is where the decrease was earlier. So this is where I make a back post. Okay, now for the rest of my neck hole, why do I call it neck hole? It's no longer a neck hole now. This is a collar. This is the ribbing of the collar. So now for the remaining first row of this collar, second row of this collar, I will continue doing 1, 2, and 3 regular front post double crochets, and then here I'm gonna do the back post. Yarn over, my first double crochet stitch in the front post is done. Yarn over, I make the second one, okay, and yarn over again, and I made 3, and now the back post, which correspond to where in the previous row I made the decrease. And that's done. And I continue for the rest. Now let's do another set together. 1, 2, 3 regular, and this is my decrease from the previous row. So 3 front post and 1 back post. The first front post double crochet stitch is done. The second one is done. And the third one is done. And now my back post. And done. As you can see, the ribbing, the ridging is beginning to show. 3 front post, 1 back post, which is the dipping, 3 front post, 1 back post. Okay, and we continue for the rest of the collar, and we will have completed row 2 of the collar. So see you there. And welcome back, and I have almost reached the end of that second row. I just want to show you what I'm about to do. Remember this seam? Remember the seam? Remember that I filled that gap, the seam created by making that decrease, the three together stitches. So here I find myself in this situation. I have my 3 front post, 1 back post, 1, 2 front post double crochet, and now I have to stitch on that big decrease from the previous row. So how am I going to tackle this? Well, I want to continue my sequence here. So even though this is a decrease, I'm actually going to treat it as if it was a front post double crochet stitch, because I want to continue, I want to preserve this sequence of my ribbing. So I'm just going to do a regular double crochet stitch in the front post. I'm going to go through this gigantic decrease from the previous row and see, there it is, perfect. I did it, I faced it. And now for the remainder ones, I have, here I have regular half double crochet stitches in the front row from the previous row. I am just going to continue with the sequence of my front post and back post double crochet stitches. So because I just completed the third front post double crochet stitch, I'm going to do a back post double crochet stitch now. And then I have 3 more to go, 1, 2, and 3, and or 2. I have 3 more to go. So 1 front post double crochet, 2 front post double crochet, 3 front post double crochet, and a slip stitch. And I just completed my second row of the collar. Let's see if it's beginning to show. Even with this very thick number 4 yarn, you can actually see it's beginning to, let's see. Very good. You should notice how it's beginning to show. Okay, now this is still too short, so we would have to make another row. So on row number 3, you would turn your work, you make 2, you know what, let's do it together. Okay, I am making 2 chains to add height, reposition my lovely stitch marker, turn my work, and I follow the same sequence. So here I have 3 over here. These are front posts, so I need to make them now 3 back posts, followed by 1 front post, followed by 3 back posts, because those 3 back posts are 3 front posts on the right side of my yoke. So yarn over, and now we should all know what to do, because we love those front post double crochet stitches, don't we? I certainly do. I just completed number 3, and now I'm gonna make my 1 front post, and now 3 more back post double crochet. I just did 1. Here is the second one, and here is the third one, and now 1 front post. Notice how the ribbing is beginning to show. Okay, meet me at the end of this row. I just completed row 3 of our collar. Look how beautiful it's beginning to show. I love it. So I am about to slip stitch right here. Now, and then what I would like you to do, depending on the yarn that you use, because this yarn is a number 4 yarn, it's growing really fast. Notice that just doing 3 rows already gave me an inch for the collar. But if you have followed my instructions and you used a lighter or thinner type of yarn, you will probably have to stitch one more row in order for you to reach the enough height for the collar for your men's sweater. So go ahead and stitch the 4th and final row of your collar, and then you will have finished with the collar. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I certainly have enjoyed making it. In the next episode, we are going to cover how to make the sleeves. Also, if you got value from watching this tutorial, please go ahead and click the thanks button here below and buy me a coffee. And of course, like and subscribe. See you next time. Ciao. The yoke, which is this part of the sweater.